Trevor and Cypher are sitting by a tree, having an extremely quirky conversation where they establish the existence of a bunch of demons that weren't a thing last season, but now they are, because that's fun. Not like some of them present consequences, it's fine.
Burning devil goat turds from the sky.
Cypher seems to have become a complete adrenaline junkie. She's itching to leave and hunt more demons, while Trevor also is, but acts really low energy about it. Lower than his usual.
I admit it. I do. You and me, we're doing good things, and it's been pretty far from boring.
Did she become a vampire too? That aside, the conversation is largely meaningless. Cypher is now hyperactive, we saw that already, and Trevor's just there. It almost feels like they are trying to imply something with it, that Trevor is at odds with their views of the things they have been doing, but that is just me. That is not a conclusion you can reasonably arrive at, because the show doesn't even give a hint of a definite statement. It doesn't deny, confirm, or shows conflicting feelings. He literally is just there, along for the ride. It really feels like someone doesn't know what to do with them. He does, however, agree that leaving might be a good idea, because some monks are spying on them, as if they didn't have enough reason to investigate the crazy Dracula worshippers before. Cypher loudly questions their beliefs, and the judge confirms it.
They do.
He asks them to follow him, and for some reason, after he sneaks up on them, they square up, ready to fight him. Because he's more alarming than the insane dickheads back there.
For tea?
I like tea.
I don't.
Anyway, they follow him to his home to clarify a few things, starting with who they truly are. They identify themselves and affirm they killed Dracula, and of course, they do it in the most time-consuming way possible by repeating themselves.
We killed him.
Really? How interesting.
Really.
Oh, you're a speaker magician. Are you really the last Belmont?
You don't need to repeat it. I can't believe that he believes them. More to the point, the judge wants them to investigate the priory. At least someone wants to. When questioned why, he tells them of the rainy night where the town got attacked by a pack of demons. They have a green hue in their eyes. And in their mushrooms. These don't look anything like the demons from Dracula's castle, especially the giant one with glowing green-pink dreads. Neither Trevor nor Cypher ask any specifics about them, nor do they seem to notice that strange detail in other demons they fought, professional hunters that they are. So they just let the judge continue. Luckily for everyone in Lindenfeld, that he's really good at his job. His guards were well supplied and well trained, blades coated with salt and feces,
Shit to make the wounds sick. That's old army tactics.
pole arms in front, swords right behind, and bows far back. The guy was ready.
But I pride myself on a carefully organized town.
Now I don't know where he found out about the salt, and the demons should still kill them easily because they are really fast and strong, but that aside, he has been by far one of the most sensible characters in the show. Of course, that is ruined immediately. They managed to kill the smaller demons, but the big one jumped away and landed on the monastery, to the sound of screaming people, including women. We have yet to see women looking crazy like the monks, and the judge doesn't mention who is in there, so they might have used stock sounds, without really thinking about it. The judge and his men slowly made their way there, but stopped when he realized that he could no longer hear the screaming, which he thought was weird because he couldn't fathom a monster that could kill all those people so quickly.
I couldn't imagine even a single monster could have killed everyone inside so quickly.
I can. All of them should be able to do that. Why the fuck are you stopping? Move! Suddenly monster noises come from the inside, and he figures the monster wasn't killing, but speaking to them. Doesn't sound like any language, so I don't know why he would believe that. Then, intense colorful lights begin to shine out of the priory, while lightning rained down everywhere, until a massive burst of light enveloped the whole of Lindenfeld. Sometime after that, the monks came out crying, holding pieces of the monster, not saying a thing. And from that point on, random, mentally disturbed people began flocking to this monastery, to a point where their numbers now rival his. So now he wants to know what the hell is going on.
I have a community to look after here. I need to know what's going to happen.
And what's going on is that he just let that happen. He slow walked after the demon, heard the demon whispers, saw the equivalent of a bomb go off inside the monastery, the monks alleging the absolute random and highly unlikely death of the creature and becoming deranged, insane weirdos coming from afar to find the place, and he just moved on, instead of investigating immediately. He has no clue about what that demon could do, and he has been characterized as being extremely OCD about how he runs the town, and yet he ignored that. Everything that was built within this universe and around these characters makes this plotline an impossibility, but they do it anyway. And poorly too. He wants these idiots to stealthily investigate the monks when 1. They are strong enough to defeat multiple demons on their own, so why not just invade the place and be done with it? If there is something bad happening there, it has been allowed to develop for a month, you don't have the time. And 2. The monks saw you talking to them just now. Why wouldn't they double their security efforts? Why wouldn't they avoid talking to them? This plan is already over, and it's your fault, you fool.
I'm not looking at you, Cypher.
You're going to.
Nope.
You like looking at me.
I'm not going to...
Because if you do, you'll crack like an egg.
Yes! Oh god, not this again.
They agree and leave, while we cut to Isaac. For some reason he just spills everything about himself to the captain, including the events of season 2. He talks about the merchant of the mirror and the joke about saving his soul from hell. That last part makes the captain curious, so Isaac explains that demons are souls of people that went against the will of God and were damned to hell. What the will is will be up for debate soon. Then he repeats the Muhammad quote and says,
"Through my hand, God lifts the damned from hell in his mercy to enact their penance on the earth as my soldiers."
We went from "I'm not sure about my faith" to "I know exactly what my mission is." You can keep saying this is an arc, it won't retroactively make it so. He also says vampires can't forge masks because it requires a human touch.
Why? Vampires can't learn magic. Not this magic.
Which is strange because Hector said they don't have one because they didn't need one.
Our kind has never produced a Forge Master.
Well, you didn't have to. Before the war, night creatures were simply a species in hiding.
So, which is it? Are we retconning that? Or do they just have different beliefs about how this magic works? You know what? Whatever. His mission is then entirely compromised by the next step of the character arc. The captain questions what Isaac is going to do after the revenge, and Isaac weighs the possibility of simply continuing Dracula's plan. But the captain tells him he might as well not.
If you don't have your own story, you become part of someone else's.
Why not go his own way? If he kills everyone, he will end the bad humans, but he will also end the good humans, like the merchant, and that's bad. So why not after his revenge, use his knowledge to improve things? He will have a realm without a ruler by the time he's done, so might as well use that power for good. And that gets Isaac thinking.
I would like more water.
Basically, the show seems to believe that he never thought about the genocide that way, which is really funny because the whole point of the war was to avenge the wrongful death of a kind person. His friendship with Dracula would not have happened without Lisa's positive influence. At the time of the war, he had to understand that people like that exist and that they would die. And he should be okay with that, because from his point of view, the bad outweighed the good.
Dracula will bring a pure world into being. I believe that.
Hector would have been the one to rethink his actions based on that. Isaac was completely on board with the plan. So using the innocent as the jumping point for his arc is absolute nonsense. But we've been running out of sense for some time now, haven't we? From there we cut to Gingerbread trying to use her charms to get Hector on Carmilla's side. Hector notices that and initially confronts her intentions, but after she treats him like a dog, he plays along. Until she gets close enough for him to take her hostage. Him, the emaciated human, and her, the vampire. How do you think that is going to end? She turns into a cloud of bats because they can do that, enters the prison, beats him up so bad he could actually die, leaves the dungeon by turning into mist, then talks about how people underestimate her because she's cutesy and the diplomat of the crew, but he's unconscious so that is just for the viewer. Then she treats him like a dog again and leaves.
Good boy.
So, where to begin? She can turn into bat and mist. So once again, can every vampire do that? Because if they can, we have problems. Many problems. Then she just didn't use Hector's history to her favor. Instead, she brought up Carmilla like she didn't listen to everything she was told about Brayla and just hoped he would see that bitch in a better light, instead of using herself as a way to pull him in. She could have tried to talk him out of his escape attempt, then show, without violence, what she can do in order to create a contrast between her nature and her behavior, to really sell her cake of friendship. Beating him up was exactly how the problem started.
I'm a diplomat. I make peace.
She's a really shit diplomat. Then you have Hector's idea of holding a vampire hostage instead of playing along. He has to know why he's alive, and it's not because of his dick. As soon as he's allowed to make demons, he can fuck them up. But he's an idiot, so of course he didn't. And lastly, is it strange that a version of a main character from the games, who was portrayed as a reformed villain trying to live a normal life, got turned into a that wanted to add extra steps to the evil he committed?
He promised me that this would be a cull, that humans would be reduced in numbers and controlled.
And is now being beaten and humiliated by reasons that are indifferent to what he did, all the while the race-swapped version of the villain from the same game, who committed the exact same atrocities without remorse, gets to go into an undeserved character arc. Isn't it weird? Or is it just me?